Yo, what's going on, YouTube? I have returned and I got another one for you. I was looking through some information that I gathered from this database for Mount Rainier disappearances, and it's like a plethora. I mean, there's a lot of people that's disappeared over the past couple of years, just in that one area alone. One of them I think I've already talked about, I believe. Let me see. I think it's. I had that information up here, but I can't find it right now. Oh yeah, it was about what's his name? Oh yeah, Zach Kroll. I think I already did a story about him already. So that one was that was a Mount Rainier disappearance. And Mount Rainier is just as mysterious as the rest of them. This is, in Olympic National Park. Well, most of the disappearances anyway. But I wanted to touch base on one about a man named Chet Hanson. There is hardly no information on him. I mean, I found a little bit over my phone, but on the actual computer, I can't find nothing on him. I typed in Chet Hanson, and it led me to another website that had nothing to do with him. And if it was some information on him, I didn't see it. It might have been like a little small paragraph or something like that, because there was literally hardly nothing. This is like a very, very small paragraph on him. But to start off with him, now it says here that the search for a 27-year-old hiker missing on Mount Rainier was suspended Sunday, the National Park Service said. And let me see. It was wired, like I said, on November 17th, 1997. I'm trying to make clear exactly when he disappeared. This might have been posted shortly after he was reported missing. But it says here, Chet Hanson of Wilkerson has been missing since Tuesday when he left on a day hike alone. Now, see, this is what I've been talking about in the past, about when you go on a hike, you never go on a hike, whether it's a day hike or evening hike, alone. You always want to travel with a group. I don't care how big the group is or how small the group is. If it's two people. If it's 5 people, let it be 5 people, but you stay within that group. You don't want to go astray. You don't want to get distracted and see something and you look off and next thing you know, poof, you're gone. You don't want to stray behind, especially if you got to tie your shoe or you want to rest for a second and drink some water, or you don't want to, if they're resting, you don't want to get ahead of them because you still got a lot of energy and go around the corner and then all of a sudden, poof, you're gone after that, because that has happened. They all, whatever this is that's doing this, always waits until you're alone and out of sight. Then they take you, and then there's nothing else anyone can do, not even yourself. They don't even hear you scream if that was the case in that scenario, if someone was being taken and they saw something that scared the living crap out of them. But anyway, let's see. Now, an extensive search by friends, family, co-workers, and the Park Service, volunteers, search and rescue teams, dogs, and aircraft have failed to turn up any sign of the man. Hanson was reported missing when he failed to show up for work Wednesday. His vehicle was found at the Deer Creek Trailhead on Washington 123, the Park Service said. I hate reading that part. I gotta stop reading that part. But anyway, Hanson left no itinerary and is believed to have been wearing only light clothing. Overnight temperatures have been well below freezing, and new snow fell Sunday at that point. So yeah, that's pretty much all they got on him at that point, because they just know that he went on a day hike and he didn't show up for work, and they're not listing any dates or time when they knew he went out. They just said that he left for a day hike, and never returned. So this is where it all gets weird. Now, excuse me. You go into an area for a day hike. Once you go in, somewhere between the time when you entered the area where you were going to hike, something happened really quick for you to disappear that fast, and without leaving any trace of you even being in the park. They just know you went into the park. They never found any trace of him or any indication that he was even in the park, except for the fact that they knew he was going there. But that's it. That's like I said before in my past videos. That is the worst part about these cases, where you don't know what happened to him. You don't know what was going through his mind. You don't know what he saw or she saw. You don't know anything, and they take that with them wherever it is they go. Because I don't think that if somebody like him, who obviously hikes a lot, I don't know how long, I don't know how many years. He may have been hiking since he was a kid. His parents or his father probably took him on a lot of hikes, or they camped a lot, and that's normally the case with a lot of people who do a lot of day hiking. They probably been hiking or camping since they were kids. And I can tell you right now, I've never hiked before. I've never camped out, except for when I was in the Boy Scouts, and I was like maybe 12 years old, and it was in the mountains of New Jersey. And nothing happened. I didn't see anything weird. I didn't feel anything weird. I just know that I didn't like it because I hated the cold. I always hated the cold. I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a very cold place, especially in the wintertime. You don't ever want to be there during the wintertime because it gets cold as hell. I'm talking like the first time I saw a blizzard was the first and only time I saw a blizzard. There may have been blizzards in other areas in New York, but it was never in. I've only seen a blizzard one time in the 7 to 10 years I lived in New Jersey. And it was like up to your knees. So that was probably the worst one I've seen in my entire life, as far as how high the snow got. So, like I said, I'd never seen anything that bad, even as a kid. And that was the only time I ever saw it. So, in light of his case, it's just a very weird situation because you don't know what happened. You can sit there and speculate all day, but if you don't have any indication of what happened to this man, you're not going to get anywhere with it, because it's just all speculation. People can say, okay, I think he was kidnapped by someone, or abducted, or he was killed by a serial killer and left marked for dead in the park. If that was the case, you would have found a body. You would have found some body parts, or whatever the case may be. But you didn't find anything. He goes in, he doesn't come out. And the crazy part is, as soon as he got in there, that's when he disappeared. Now, he could have been in there for a couple of days. We don't know that. But he could have been. And somewhere along the line, something happened. He saw something, and this something that he saw took him. And he didn't have any say in the matter. He probably tried to get away and couldn't get away. And that's the worst part, because that's all you could think about. He saw something, and that something took him. And they were smart enough not to leave any evidence whatsoever. So that could be the case with him. But, when it comes to cases like this that are mysterious and there's no answer to why they disappeared, you can only think of the paranormal and the mysterious. That's the only thing you can think of. You can say, I think there was a serial killer in the park. No serial killer is that thorough and that prolific when it comes to killing. Some of them are messy, some of them do get away with it, and they get away with it for years before they're finally caught. But there are a lot of them that kill someone and they leave something behind that leads back to them. It's just like a story. I think I even mentioned this story a long time ago, where there was a guy that was shooting cans off of a fence in his yard. This was miles and miles away from where this incident happened. Okay, the one of the bullets ricocheted off the bottle or the can, and it went up and over, and it went out for a couple of thousand miles. It's like how they always say, what goes up must come down, even a bullet. So by it being a bullet, it was shot into the air at a very far and high distance. And as it started to recede, it came down right into the back window of a person driving on the highway and struck the man right in the back of the head. And the guy died, I believe. And of course, he had an accident on the highway and probably turned over and all that stuff. You know, it might not, maybe there wasn't that many people on the highway, I don't know, but I just know that he was shot in the back of the head from the back of his window, and they were trying to figure out where it came from. They traced the bullet back to someone that bought a gun along with some bullets in a part of the state from miles and miles away. I'm talking about a couple thousand miles away. They just tracked everything back to this one person, and they realized that it was just an accident. He wasn't trying to kill nobody because he was from way over there. There was no evidence to state that he was even nowhere near the car. You know, because the car was moving at the time. It was on the road, driving. You know, and for that to happen is one hell of a coincidence. If you shooting at a bunch of cans and one of those bullets ricochets off of one of those cans and gets shot up into the air and comes down in the back of someone's window and shoots them right in the head, you know, and penetrates the skull and kills them, that's a very incredible odd right there, you know, for someone to be doing something other than trying to kill somebody. He was never convicted, but it was just the fact that the bullet got traced to his gun that he bought probably the same day or maybe a couple of months before that actually happened. You know, so it's weird. Very, very strange coincidence. But as far as him, he goes in, he doesn't come out. What he saw, we don't know. I would love to know what it was that he saw. It might have been terrifying. It might have been, I don't know. I mean, he could have met with someone who took him somewhere against his will. The question is, where did they take him? Did he get sucked into a dimensional portal that led him to another dimension or another reality or another parallel Earth that was perpendicular to our own? Did he get sent to another planet, another time? Did he get sent back in time, forward in time? Who knows? It could be anything. He could have went through a time tunnel. You know. It's, like I said, this ain't about guess of what could have happened to him, and that's just what makes this so weird that we spend all this time thinking about what could have happened to him. We spend all this time thinking about, okay, was he taken by an unknown assailant? Was he eaten by animals? You know, was he killed and disposed of in a way that kept anyone from trying to find out what happened to him? That's somewhat impossible because you're going to smell the smell of a dead body around no matter what, especially if it's rotting, you know, but you don't smell that. It's just like the story about that young man I told you about that was found in that well. For him to be down there for 11 years and nobody not smell the smell of a rotting corpse, that just doesn't make any sense. So I don't know whoever did that, what they were thinking or how they did it, but they was able to do it without anyone knowing. And they still don't know to this day why he was in that well. Could he have fallen down there for some reason? I don't know. Maybe he was drunk. And maybe he was looking down there to see what was down there, probably, you know, but nobody really knows. They just know that he was in the well and they found his remains. But there was no smell of a dead body anywhere near that area unless it was boarded up, which I doubt it because I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's really all they had on that story. And there was really not too much to even go on with that. All you can do is speculate as far as what happened to him, you know. And I'm leaning towards the mysterious and the paranormal, or whatever the case may be, even the alien abduction, you know, because that stuff does happen. You know, people just don't believe in it because their minds think in a more logical way, you know. But logic doesn't come any easier when it comes to these cases. It doesn't. It's not even a part of it. But anyway. Alright, the next story I'm going to read about is about a man named James Thomas Griffin. I don't think I talked about him in my past video, so that's why I'm going to do another one just in case. But this is a story about a man whose body was found in Olympic National Park. And it was in an area called Elwha Valley. It says here, the body of missing hiker James Thomas Griffin was found yesterday in Olympic National Park, Park's Elwha River Valley. Griffin at the age of 60, was last seen by other hikers on December 22nd at Olympic Hot Springs. He was reported missing on December 24th when he did not arrive at a Christmas Eve dinner he was scheduled to attend. Griffin's remains were found by a search dog team in terrain the park's staff described as very steep, rugged, and densely forested. His body was about a third of a mile and nearly 1,000 vertical feet above the Boulder Creek Trail. Okay, now see, here's another thing. Boulder Creek, that means there's a huge boulder field in that area, and that seems to correlate with a lot of the cases that David Paulides talks about. There's always a boulder field somewhere near where the person disappears at mysteriously. So I think boulder fields, I don't know what kind of significance they have towards these people that disappear, but it always seems to come up every time, you know. But anyway, Griffin's day pack was found on December 25th, Christmas Day, about a half a mile from the trailhead. The park led a 5-day search involving more than 20 people, but no other evidence was ever found. The body was taken to a funeral home late yesterday. Now, when I say late yesterday, that is around the year when he was found. Now, this was around 2015, so that was about 3 years ago. 2 years ago. About 2 years ago. So this was a pretty recent case. It's only pretty much 2 years old, and he still hasn't been found. Well, I mean, they did find him. They found his remains, but yeah. So, yeah, very strange circumstances, people. The circumstances that surround these cases is very, 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 very strange. The fact that you can never figure out what's going on with these people is like beyond me. You know, I would love to try and find out what it is that's taking these people. I mean, for someone to go into these areas just to stand there and even just try to pick up what kind of energy they may have felt in that area, or even think about what it is that they feel that they saw. You know, just to even stand there, maybe they could pick up some type of vibe or something. Because I said this before about a guy who called into Coast to Coast AM one night when David Paulides was being interviewed, and he was talking about how he almost could have been one of those people that was taken because he was jogging on a trail, and he said all of a sudden he just felt this like it was like pure evil that he felt, and it just engulfed his entire body from head to toe, and he had to stop for a second. He was like, am I really feeling this? It can't be. And he just kept on running. Then he stopped again. He was like, okay, I need to get out of here. So he turned around and ran. He ran as fast as he could back to the car, because I think he parked in a parking lot that was near a foresty area where he was jogging at. He said that as he ran, he ran into an open field, because the area he was running in was a trail that was surrounded by a lot of trees, and then he was part of the forest. And then he ran right into an open field where he saw it was lined by a bunch of trees, and on the other side was the parking lot where he parked his car. And he said that whatever this thing was, this pure evil, it was like it almost felt like it was alive, because it was following him and it was trying to engulf him in some kind of way. And he said he could feel it behind him, and he was like right on the tip of his heel, and he just kept running fast as he could to get away from it. And finally, he actually got away from it because he didn't feel that sensation anymore. It was like, I mean, cause to feel pure evil and to even describe the fact that it felt like it was following him, it's almost like whatever this thing is, it can produce evil in a way like as if it was alive, you know, and it uses evil alone to manifest itself. That's what it seems like to me when that guy felt what he felt. It's almost like whatever this thing is can manifest itself in pure energy that is evil and negative energy. And, you know, it's like I've said this before. We are all energy. We are all part of a single energy that that is an energy that we come from, and the source of this energy is the core of who we are. We are all energy, and we are all extensions of this one single energy. Okay, and it spreads out throughout the entire planet. Okay, everything is energy. We just are basically, how can I put this? We are disguised as human beings, but once you take away the human flesh and everything else that makes us who we are as humans, what do we have left? Nothing but energy. Because we talk about spirit energy, we talk about soul energy, anything that's dealing with the manifestation of who we are in an energetic way, or just who we are as spiritual beings. Okay, we talk about our soul, and we talk about our spirit. All that stuff is pure energy. Okay, but it lies within us, like your chi or your chakra or your mana, which is Hawaiian for energy as well. All this stuff is who we really are. We are disguised as humans with personalities and everything else that makes us who we are individually. But when you break it down, everything around us, everything about us, even this laptop that I'm speaking to you guys on, it's all just energy. It's just it is solid energy, and it's just energy. Energy is a flowing manifestation of what can. I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to speak from speak in a spiritual way, because I am a spiritual person, But I do know that we are all one energy. We come from one single source of energy. And imagine this here as the source of all energy. And this is us, the human race. We are extensions of this one energy. We are coming from here. This is the core of where we come from. As we are spread out all over the world, we are given the ability to think for ourselves. Therefore, because energy can do so many things. Obviously, it helps us think. It helps us do all the things that we do. Energy alone is within us so that we can go throughout our day, go to work, play with our kids, take our kids to school, all this stuff. Energy is what drives us to do what we do. And that energy is also a part of our spirit and our soul. All this stuff is energy. So, without this here, I'll put it to you like this here. Einstein said, and I quote, "If we were to use all of our brain, we wouldn't need our bodies." Now, the body, the brain alone is the main battery of our entire being. Without the brain, we cannot live. Okay, so just imagine if we were just a bunch of floating brains that was able to do so much. If we were to drop our restraints, meaning our body alone, if we were to get rid of our body along with the bones and the tendons, the veins, all that stuff, we were just a floating brain. Can you imagine the capabilities that our brain can actually achieve? Because I think the human body slows us down, or slows our brain down, because we have to move our body to do daily work. We have to move our body to do this and do that, to walk, to drive, to run, play with our kids, help our kids with our homework, all this stuff. If we were to drop our restraints, meaning get rid of our bodies and just have our brain, we could probably achieve so much. We could probably build houses within a snap. I just think that the human body it holds us back. It slows us down. And for Einstein to say if we were able to use 100% of our brain's power, we wouldn't need our bodies, I think that is very true. Because it is an area of achievement that I don't know we would ever get to. Now if we were able to do that, this would probably be a better place. Maybe, I don't know. Could be, it may not. I'm not sure. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much everything that's on these cases. They're very short. There wasn't a lot of information on them, but it's very telling as well because of the fact that he went in and never came out. Okay, because it said that his body was found. So what was he doing when he went into the park? What was did he see something? Was he able to get away? Obviously not. Did he just die from not having any food while he was out there? Now it said that he was hiking, so that means he was going there for something. So he probably had some provisions with him. He probably had some, food, like maybe some beef jerky. Probably had a couple of bottles of water, in his little sack he had. But what happened to him? Hikers saw him in the Olympic hot springs, but something happened to him around that time because he didn't report for the Christmas Eve party he was supposed to have gone to on the 24th. So the man disappeared. He was reported missing either on Christmas Eve or around Christmas because he didn't show up for, let me see, his day pack was found on the 25th, on Christmas Day. So he was reported missing on the 24th because he didn't show up for a party. So between the time when he went into Olympic Park, which was on the 22nd, somewhere between the 23rd and the 24th, at whatever time, something happened to him. And he was only there for a short couple of days, so that means he didn't die he couldn't have died from the elements or died of starvation, because they said you can go, I think they said 3 weeks without food before your body actually shuts down. But something happened to him. I don't know what, but something did happen to him, and something killed him. Now, they didn't mention the nature of his body, the fact that he may have been partially clothed, when they found his body, in the woods, in the forest. They didn't say anything in that aspect. So nobody really knows what could have happened. If they do know, it was too weird for them to even put out there. So they kept that information to themselves. Me personally, if I feel like there's any information out there, no matter how weird it is, I would tell the family. Now, they could take that however which way they want because they may not even believe it. They probably would think that there was a serial killer, in Olympic National Park that killed him and left him marked for dead or whatever the case may be. But there's no evidence to state that there was. Okay, they just know that he went in and never came out. And when they found his body on Christmas Day, he probably didn't even have a cause of death anywhere on the body. But you would have to get the autopsy report, or you would have to get the autopsy report, but you would have to fill out a Freedom of Information Act form. Now if it's a weird case that they don't want out there, you probably never get it. I don't know if David Paulides even tried to get that information, because I don't think he's ever talked about James Thomas Griffin. I'm pretty sure he knows about what happened to him because that's in his area of expertise. I'm pretty sure he knows about it, but he probably hasn't talked about it. I don't think I even seen it in one of his books, but I've only bought 2 of his books, so I got to get the rest of them just to even see if he even had that name in there. But yeah, that is about it, folks. I'm going to continue looking up more information on people who disappeared in Mount Rainier, because I have a huge list of people that have disappeared in that area. So I will continue to get the information from that database, and I will get it back to you as soon as possible. But as of right now, I got to cook me something because my ass is starving. I ain't really had nothing to eat all day, except for a tiny little piece of sandwich I brought from McDonald's in Orlando when I was on my way back here. It was a half-eaten sausage and egg, what do you call that, McGriddle. Like a pancake with syrup on the inside and sandwich with the sausage and egg. Very tasty. If you ever had it, go get it. It's real tasty. It's basically like a pancake sandwich. You take 2 pancakes and put the egg and the cheese and the sausage in the middle. Very good, very good. But anyway, guys, like I said, thanks for stopping by, and I will definitely get more information out to you as soon as possible. Hey, I may even put up another video later on tonight, before it gets too late, because I got to report to work tomorrow. Got to meet the man. Today's my last day on my vacation, so I'm gonna enjoy it as much of it as I can, and part of that is enjoying giving you guys the information that you need and making these videos. So I mean, that's part of my enjoyment on my vacation. That's why I did what I did while I was on vacation in Florida, because I love doing this channel. I love getting that information out there and educating you guys on what's really going on. And the fact that some of my viewers didn't know anything about the Brown Mountain vanishing made my day even more, because that means I got to them with that information. So I was the first one to even say something to them about it. I'm glad you guys love my videos, and I appreciate that. Keep it going. So without further ado, you know how I do it. Aloha, mahalo, and ahuiho. Peace out, guys. Hang loose.